One of the main points to this game is that you must have 2 cards equal to 13, unless of course you have the king, then you only need 1 card to equal 13. So you're going to be putting pairs together. Let's say, for example, you have the ace. There's 4 different queens that would go with it, because ace is 1, queen is 12, so they'll give us 13. You have a deuce. Well, there happens to be 4 different jacks. Jacks considered 11. 2 plus 11 is 13. And then again, if you have a 3, well, 3 plus 10 is equal to 13. And if you have a 4, well, 13 minus 4 is going to be equal to 9. Now, one thing I'd point out, as you've seen so far, is you do not have to have the suits match. You just have to have the numbers equal 13. So if you have a 5, 5 plus 8 is going to be equal to 13. And of course, lastly, we have a 6. 6 plus 7 is going to be 13. So you want to memorize these combinations, including the 4 kings that can combine to 13. So the king by themselves, and then obviously the ace queen through the 6-7 combinations. You want to memorize what they are, so when you look at a board, you can just instantly say, okay, I have a 5, I need to have an 8 to pair it off or to move it down. So once again, there's 4 kings and 24 pairs, or 52 cards total. So we're going to have to solve 24 different pairs throughout the game. We'll take a look at that in a little more detail here. In front of us, we have a board. There's 1 card where the ace of spades is, 2 cards in the next level, 3 in the third, 4 in the fourth, 5 in the fifth, 6 in the sixth, and 7 in the seventh. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus 4 is 10. 10 plus the red 5 is 15. 15 plus 6, 21. 21 plus the blue 7 is 28. So that means there are 28 cards in the pyramid. And there's 52 cards in the deck. That means there are 24 cards in this top left pile over here. And that number will change as we go down. But you may not use that right at the start, but you will definitely want to use that toward the end if you're thinking about making a decision whether to play a card or not, or how you want to go about solving it. You could potentially use it at the beginning, but you just want to try at the start to try to solve, and then work your way through. So once again, here's the combinations of 13 we can have up top, not including the king. We have a 4, we're looking at the 4 of clubs, and we see the 4 and the 9 combined for 13. Well, if we look at this board here, we see there are, 1 4 and 2 9s, well, 2 4s total, counting the top. That means there are 4 more left, because there's in the pile there, because there's 8. There's 4 4s and 4 9s, so there's 8 cards total. So 4 more in that top left pile, not including the 9 of spades, will be there. Let's take a look at another example here. We have the Jack of Hearts. And if you look closer, you'll notice there are 3 jacks below the Jack of Hearts that we circled there. And that means that there are no more jacks left in the top pile there. So that's a little bit of deductive reasoning we can use to help us in the game. And sometimes we might actually find out that we cannot win. If you look at this example in front of us right here, you'll notice that there are 4 8s. Okay, well, what exactly does that mean? Well, 8 and 5 is 13. So if you look closer, you'll notice that there are 4 5s. There's 4 5s. And if you notice how they're situated, there's no way we can solve this particular puzzle here. And in that case, it means game over. And this is a tricky game to play. You're going to find out more times than not, you're going to end up not solving the puzzle than you are going to end up solving the puzzle. Let's go ahead and continue on the theme of unsolvable games. If you'll notice in front of us, there are 2 aces and, of course, a 3 of diamonds. Now, the 3 of diamonds you can solve, but you can't go any lower on the pyramid. But if you look at the 2 aces and the ace below, and you think about this a step further, you'll notice that there are 4 queens at the top of the pyramid right below. You see where the 10 of hearts is? There's a queen of spades. 2 queens below that, and then a queen of diamonds. And since there are 4 queens in this case, and ace queen is equal to 13, this puzzle is not going to be, pyramid is not going to be solvable. So that's something to always watch out for as you play. So one of the things we want to try to do is work our way from the inside out, because we want to have as many possible choices as we can. So, like, for example, the 7 right here goes with the 6, so it'll give us 13. I would prefer to do the one on the inside than the one on the outside, because it'll give us more options. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this right here. We get the 4 and the 9. That gives us 13, and then we're going to go to the 7 and the 6 there. And then now we can, with the Jack Deuce, we're going to go on the inside one, so we have potentially more options as we go down. But what we want to do when we're playing is we want to try to go from the inside out. We want to give ourselves as many choices as we possibly can. Here we have the 7, the 5, the queen, the jack, and if we move one of these 2 inside pieces, either the queen or the 5, that'll open up 2 spots, the 9 and the ace. If we do the queen, we'll open up the 10 and the 4. So we want to try to go from the inside out, the choice that gives us the most options, and the most options will give us better odds of solving this. Our next example we're going to look at is called layering down, where we start at one level and then we put a card down at the next level. So we have this row of 7 here. Below it is the row from 6 to king is the row 7, and below it is the row of 3 of diamonds to the 4 of clubs. So okay, we do this one, the 6 and the 7 on the first level. And then what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to layer our way down. So we got the 9 and the 4 there. And okay, how can we layer down? Well, let's see, we got the jack and the deuce. And then we can layer down with the queen and play the ace on the lower level below. And that gives us, opportunities to layer down more. And then we can kind of work our way through the field. So that's an example of layering down right there. Here we have an example where we have 2 9s that would go with the 4 on the left. This is 9 of spades, and of course the 9 of clubs on the right. Each of those will equal 13. Now, typically speaking, I like to start, work my way down the piles and then hit those. But in this example, we might want to go the other way, and that's because if you look a little deeper, you see the ace of clubs and the queen of hearts. You'll notice you can make a few moves downward. So we hit the 9 and the 4, and we can do the ace queen. Oh, and then we can do the 6 and the 7 there. And, now we can do the 9 and the 4, which is way better than what we would have had if we had just gone with the 9 and the 4 up top. Now we were able to solve this a little bit more in depth and give us actually, a chance to solve it. In part of this example, that comes up where we have the ace queen up top there. And we also have 2 queens, the queen of spades and the queen of clubs below it. And the question is, should we take the ace queen or should we do the queen of spades and the ace of clubs? And I think in this situation, what you got to look at is how many aces there are in the rest of the deck. And we don't see any other aces anywhere in this pile here, which means there are a total of 4 aces or 3 more aces. And they're all going to be in this top left pile right here. So we're going to go ahead and play the ace queen, knowing that we can get that card, the ace, later on. And lo and behold, we do. So in that situation, we can take the top cards. Now, if there's not a lot of aces left, you may want to keep the ace in the top left pile there. But it's dependent on the situation. Okay, here's a similar situation to the last one, but we're actually going to take the opposite line here. If you look up top, there's the Jack Deuce, which combines to 13, and there's the Jack Deuce below. The reason we're going to take the Jack Deuce below, if you look, you'll see the 10-3 underneath, and you'll see multiple moves we can make afterwards. So we take the Jack Deuce, we take the 10-3, and lo and behold, we can take this 10-3 as well. And we can take 2 kings. So that's a situation where you might want to go the other way. Again, it's situation dependent. You want to look at what you have on the top line as well as 1 or 2 layers below. Okay, let's say we're facing a situation where we have the jack right here and we have either one of these deuces that'll make 13, what we'd like to do is we'd like to hit the jack and then take the one on the right, and the reason being is this is going back a card, which might actually give us a chance to solve a previous one. In this example it doesn't, but there's always a chance that it can. Here's a situation that comes up a fairly bit of time, and basically what it is you see the 4 of spades right here, and you see the 9 of clubs, and you think, okay, we got it right there, 13. But if you look a little deeper, you haven't solved this 4-9 pile right here. What you got to do is you got to use a combination to get all 4 cards out instead of just solving 2. So we're going to take the 4 of clubs right here, knock out the 9 of clubs, and then, oh, by the way, we can do the 4 of spades and the 9 of diamonds right there, and that helps us solve there and actually get us down a little bit deeper. So that's one thing to try to watch out for. You'll see that situation quite a bit actually in this game. So hopefully if you follow all the tips in this video, you'll be able to figure out different strategies, techniques that'll improve your odds and actually give you a shot at beating the game, or at least that's the objective here. And if we can do that, we'll be in good shape, where we'll have a chance to win, and that's kind of what we want. As we look down at this game right here, we slowly whittle our way down. We're up to 37 cards. We can knock this out of the way. We can knock the 10 and the 3 out of the way. 6, 7 out of the way. Oh, we're getting close. We just have to hope we can maneuver here. 8, 4, no. Oh, wait, 8, 5, yes. 9, 4 is 13. That brings us up to 48. 6 and the 7. And there we have it. We win the game. So hopefully this video helps you. Thank you for watching, and good luck.